Hello, welcome to Sharing Creativity and Company. My name is Sharon Cheng, and today I'm very excited to show you my easy version of the bokeh technique. I'm going to show you how to take a piece of whisper white cardstock like this and turn it into a beautiful background with the colors of your choice. Today we're going to focus on how I made this You're a Star card. First thing I started with is making a template out of our window sheets. You can see where I've left the ink on so that you can see the stars more easily on this clear background. And I took the stars framelets, the two smallest stars, and I also took the star out of the itty bitty punch packs to make this template. Just set that aside. We're going to use that in just a bit. So the first thing I did is I just sponged the color on the Whisper White cardstock. This particular project, the Whisper White is cut 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. You can vary it to make it fit what fits you, what you like the best. So the colors I've used are Pacific Point and Real Red, and I'm going to show you my sponging technique. You just open up your ink pad. You can see where I've taken the stamping sponge and I've cut it into quarters, and then I just put a piece of cardstock on it, stapled on, to remind me to always use this for blue. I'm kind of squishing it here, and I'm swirling it to get color on, and then I come in from the outside edges, and I just sponge it on like this. You're going to notice it'll take a couple of times to get the depth of color. And then when I come to the edges right here where it matches up into the Real Red color, notice that I'm going to feather it out. It's really okay that the markings might have a sharp edge, because that'll just tell you where you're going to put a star. Not a problem. So once you get that to the color that you like, then you're going to set aside and let it dry for a little bit. And then I use the pictogram punches stamp set, and I used the You're a Star because I just thought that fit this project perfectly. And I heat embossed in Whisper White embossing powder the You're a Star in the bottom corner. I then took my template, took the background, which had this embossed, and I started stenciling on stars randomly wherever I wanted using this little template. And it's fairly simple. I did try to not put any stars directly here because I wanted the white to really show up against the dark background. But to do the stencil, all you do is lay this down wherever you want. You can see I'm going to line it back up because you will have to put more than one layer on some of the stars to make them pop. And I'm just using the white craft ink. I just tap like that, and then tap, and that's how you're going to get that star. So you can tell that this is now the second layer, so it's much brighter than the other stars that only have one layer. So let me show you what that looks like as you continue to strengthen the color on some of the stars. When it dries, it will fade a little bit. It won't be quite as bright as when it's still wet like that. But you can see where these stars have had a second layer added, whereas one like these are very transparent, have not had it added. So this is with some of the stars with a second layer of Whisper White. This is the third step where I've added still a third layer of Whisper White craft ink. And then what I did, because the craft ink stays wet for a long time, you can see where I added our iridescent ice embossing powder and heat embossed that also to give the stars an extra glow. Again, I didn't do all of them. I wanted some of the background and some to pop a little bit. The hardest part really about this technique is waiting for the craft ink to dry in between your different layers. But if you're making more than one card, it's perfect, because by the time you get back to your first card, it's dry enough to work with. And then I layered it with a piece of Whisper White cardstock here that is now 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then on a Pacific Point background. And that is how I did my You're a Star Bokeh easy technique. Thank you so much for sharing creativity and company with me. Remember to shop with me to get what you want for your next crafting project.